Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 176. Today, we are back for another weekly episode. Quickly, if you did not listen to our last episode, it was a banger. We did a Detroit Lions offseason cover episode. We did it all. It was with Christian Booher, phenomenal guest, and it was all things Lions. If you've been wanting to talk about and listen about the Lions, that's the episode for you.
Yeah, it was super fire. Chris was he's been a friend of ours for a while, wanted to be on the podcast for a while, and he killed it. He was an awesome guest, and he knows so much about football.
Yeah.
So cool. He was an awesome
And like
guest.
you said, he's a guy that definitely can be back on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, especially, during Lions season and, once the Lions off-season things go down, he would be a perfect guy to get on for that, to cover everything.
He'll probably be a new game show contestant.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
He'll probably be a new regular for that.
Also, I haven't done one of these in a while. Go follow us on Twitter and on Instagram and on TikTok, obviously. And I want to give a quick thank you because I haven't gone on the stats thing in a while for our podcast. Was looking at it today. We have surpassed the 10,000 download margin as a podcast.
Wow,
so
that's
over
pretty high.
10,000 total downloads ever on our podcast. That's not even just people clicking it and listen to it. That's them clicking the download button. 10,000. That's a huge milestone for us.
Yeah, that is so hype to think how long that number was so low.
I know.
And until recently it just started growing a lot more. It's just so cool.
And I tried to put it because I've probably downloaded every single one of our episodes, but that's only 176
Yeah.
out of 10,000. That's
Yeah,
really
exactly.
not that much of an impact,
I guess I've never downloaded all the
I download
episodes.
every single one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just
gotcha.
to to add to
bump
it,
it up
might
a
as
little
well.
bit.
It takes a lot of storage out of my phone, but so yeah, just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone who listens to our podcast because it means a lot to us, obviously, and we've been doing it for a long time now. All right, are we good to hop into today?
Yeah, let's get going.
So today we're going to cover a lot of things. We're recording this on Wednesday midday, by the way. We will not have a weekly episode at all next week. We are going on spring break. We need a much-needed vacation. It's been a stressful time of the year right now with school and everything. So
And Michigan weather is
that
really
too.
balling out right now. It's really showing its
Pretty
true
nice day
colors.
today, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But 2 days ago, it was terrible.
It won't be good in 2 more days. So
Yeah, exactly.
Michigan weather's been crazy lately. So we're going to Florida next week. So you will not. This will probably be up tomorrow on Thursday. So you will not hear another episode from us till after then. Sometime we'll figure it out.
Yeah, don't forget about us. Please don't forget about us.
I was thinking maybe we could try and squeeze in some fast break episode and just schedule it to be uploaded during the time next week. But we don't really have time to record one. So
yeah.
So you're just not going to hear from us for a week. So sorry in advance.
Yeah, we're busy right now.
Big Ten tournament will be going on. We'll be there to recap it as soon as it's over.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So yeah, that's just a quick heads up for that. Today, we're just going to be going over basically everything that's going on right now in sports. So let's start off with the report this morning. Star defensive lineman from Georgia, Jalen Carter, who is projected to be a top 3-ish pick in the NFL draft, was charged had a warrant out for his arrest this morning for facing 2 misdemeanors of reckless driving and racing with a car that was in an accident. This happened back in January. A Georgia football player, along with a young Georgia staff member, I think a recruiting staff member, fatally died in a car accident. It was very unfortunate, and this happened, right after. Would this have been after the national
right
championship?
after, yeah.
So it was really unfortunate that this happened, and it comes out today that Jalen Carter was there at the scene when it happened, and he was racing the car that killed those 2 people. So it's very unfortunate. Jalen Carter has made a statement basically denying that this is all wrong, and he wants this situation to be resolved, and that he was not doing the things that he is being charged for. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens, but either way, this is still very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's so hard, and it came after, shortly after a great finish to a season, which makes it even harder to lose somebody like that. But I mean, I can't wait to see what the full details come out about this and what's charged and everything, even though that might not always be correct. But it's so crazy how we don't even have answers.
Yeah.
Right now we've got he says, she says right now with this guy not even he doesn't even say he's at the scene.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But hopefully it all gets worked out. I mean, this guy's he's a top 10 draft pick this year.
I mean, he's a top 2 draft pick probably. I don't know what this is going to do with his draft stock, obviously, because if he's not, if these charges are dropped, I don't know if that changes anything. Todd McShay did say about a month ago in one of his first mock drafts that Jalen Carter has some character issues that he's a little worried about, and it was just kind of like random because it was the first time anyone's heard about that, so everyone was like, what is he talking about? Like, is he just saying that to say that? Maybe this was what he was talking about, so it's kind of weird that, then he knew, but either way, this is unfortunate. We'll see how it affects his stock. He is not going to be competing at the draft combine either, so I don't know what's going to happen with Jalen Carter. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, not competing at the draft combine after something like this is a little weird.
I mean, he already had planned on not doing the combine.
But even then, the only thing you're going to hear about him for the last long time up until draft is this. You know, there's nothing fresher in our minds than just this. Yeah,
exactly. So we'll see what goes down with that. Obviously, it's going to play a big role in what happens in the draft. So we'll see what keeps up and happening with that. Quickly, want to say this: the Detroit Red Wings and Shane Larkin, not Shane Larkin. I've been saying that just because you said that the other day. The Detroit Red Wings and Dylan Larkin contract negotiation saga has finally come to an end as Dylan Larkin signs an 8-year, $70 million contract extension with the Red Wings. They've been in talks all year. They weren't willing to pay him what he wanted. Either way, they get it done. Shout out Steve Yzerman for extending Larkin.
Is that a big contract in hockey?
I don't really know.
8 years,
I think 8 years is like a lot of years.
And that sounds right, but like only $70 million. So I mean, it's just so weird that
such a poor guy.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. He's getting paid. But he is getting paid like a reasonable amount. Like that seems realistic.
Quite reasonable. Yes.
Seems like what it should be.
So yeah, I mean, I honestly don't really know like the market
for a hockey player.
In the NHL, really. The Red Wings have been doing well lately. They might make a playoff push. It's going to be tough, but now they have Larkin locked up, so that's good for them. All right, let's hop into some Big Ten basketball talk because the Big Ten basketball has been crazy lately. Last night, the Michigan State Spartans took on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, came out so flat. It was the worst first half I've ever seen, probably the worst half they've played all year. That I forget what the guy's name is from Nebraska. He's a smaller Asian player, left-hander. Cold as hell. I mean, he is cold. He was hitting so many threes on us, and we were down by like 15 at halftime. We come out of the second half absolutely just like against Iowa, not missing any shots, and we end up winning the game by like 15 points. Much-needed win, but yeah, the Iowa game last week where we blew it in the crazy ending. Michigan State has gone through a really weird last couple weeks. And now we're near the end, so I'm ready for the Big Ten tournament to be here.
Me too. This Big Ten like regular season has just been terrible. It's been so up and down. Michigan's on a 3-game win streak out of nowhere heading into I don't know who they have left. I know Indiana,
Illinois tomorrow night, and Indiana Sunday.
Yeah,
both on the road.
It would be awesome to get one win in there before the Big Ten tournament. I don't expect to win both games with this Michigan team. Now that it's like college hoop season, I've been watching, I haven't missed the Michigan game in like 4 or 5 Michigan games, and I haven't been watching all year. But I want to see us at least make the tournament so I can keep watching Michigan basketball.
And they've been winning without Jet Howard, too, which has been pretty impressive.
Doug McDaniel is really starting to step up.
Yeah, that's the
big difference.
He's going to be a very good, at least 3-year player for Michigan, for sure. And then Kobe Buffkin, obviously, has been playing at the top of his game as well. In Joe Lunardi's bracketology that he did yesterday on Tuesday, Michigan was in the first 4 out, which is a step up. They were in like the next 4 out, and now they're in the first 4 out. So it's a step in the right direction. They still have a lot of work to do, but they are tied for second in the Big Ten right now, which is pretty wild. Michigan State was a 7 seed in Joe Lunardi's bracketology, but CBS had Michigan State as a 9 seed. MSU is a really weird one because we have a lot of quad 1 wins, but our overall record isn't the greatest. But we also have like the 5th. We have had the 5th hardest schedule in all of college basketball this year. So I think that plays a huge key into it. Right now, the Big Ten standings, you have Purdue first at 13-5, who has fallen off. And then tied for second, which like Purdue could still not win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I think they've actually at least clinched a share of the Big Ten. Yeah, they have. But
It's like who would take Indiana?
you have Maryland, Northwestern, and Michigan all tied for second at 11-7. So they each have 2 games left. Indiana and Iowa, who played last night, are tied for 5th at 11-8. Iowa blew out Indiana at home, and Indiana's been very good at home this year. So once again, just weirdness in the Big Ten. Tied for 7th is MSU and Rutgers at 10-8. And then tied for 9th at 8-9 is Penn State and Wisconsin. The tough thing for Michigan State is the Minnesota game that was canceled or that was postponed will not be made up. So MSU will be without an extra game, which is going to hurt them because, if we finish as 11-8, all these teams that finished as 12-8 have a better record. They all finish above them, and we're probably not going to get lucky as far as the seeding goes for the Big Ten tournament. Whereas if we had that extra game, we could most likely probably be a double bye team, a top 4 seed. So it's just going to be crazy.
So weird.
Everything is so tight in the Big Ten right now. We were talking about, picking for the Big Ten tournament. You could blindly pick any team to win the tournament and have the same amount of odds as being right as actually like strategically picking a team.
Yeah, this Big Ten year, there's been no consistency throughout the entire season. It's like at the start of the year, I thought Michigan State was going to be like this absolute powerhouse. But they're really good against good teams, and they're pretty bad against bad teams. They play to the level of their competition. And like you could say the same thing about Michigan for the most part. We only play well against the good ones. And we don't even do that hardly. We hardly.
I don't think
do
any
that.
team plays like it. You can't really predict it.
How are we 2 in the Big Ten? Like that is wild. At 11-7, we are tied for second in the Big. Could we finish? I mean, at that point, if we finish second we beat Illinois, lose to Indiana, and finish second, I don't know if that's possible.
Right.
Do we like automatically make the tournament at second in the conference?
I don't know. It depends on what you do in the tournament, I guess, because I don't think the tournament seeding is going to play any effect in the actual NCAA tournament, just because of how tight everything is.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you have a team like MSU who's tied for 7th right now that is projected to be a much higher seed than almost every team that's above them.
Yeah.
So it really still comes down to strength of schedule and everything, but. Yeah, I mean, like Michigan could easily get a double bye in the Big Ten tournament, be that 2 or 3 seed, and it would obviously play into their favor.
Be so hype.
But MSU sitting as maybe an 8 or 9 is going to take on Purdue in the second round, and it's just like, ugh, I don't want to do that. Obviously, I'm confident that we can beat any team in the Big Ten because there isn't any good teams in the Big Ten. That's the worst part. This has been a really frustrating year. I have some. I have games written down for the rest of the year because obviously the season is over on Sunday. So I wrote down all the games, but I'm just going to go over the important ones that are going to play a huge factor. So tonight, you guys will already know the outcome of these. But Maryland plays Ohio State and Penn State takes on Northwestern. Big for Michigan because Maryland and Northwestern both tied for second. Tomorrow, obviously, we said Michigan at Illinois. That is a huge game. Then we also have Rutgers at Minnesota and Purdue at Wisconsin. Saturday is the just Ohio State at Michigan State. That will be MSU's final game of the year, senior night. And then Sunday, there's a large slate of games with Maryland, Penn State, Illinois, Purdue, which will be a good one. Nebraska, Iowa, Michigan at Indiana, Wisconsin at Minnesota, and Northwestern at Rutgers. The funny thing, too, about picking for the Big Ten tournament is that every single Big Ten team has been significantly better at home, and then they're terrible on the road. That's been like... Because you always say, like, oh, that team's always... Like, Rutgers has historically been a really good home team, bad on the road. But every team is like that this year. I think MSU has, 2 losses at home in the conference, so that means they've lost every other one on the road. Maryland, I think, is undefeated at home in the conference, but they have 7 losses in the conference, so it's just... It's such a weird year.
And it's so, classic, because usually, I mean, they talk about in the Big Ten how hard it is to win on the road. So this, I guess, really shows how hard it is to win on the road.
Yeah. So we'll see with how the standings end up. The Big Ten tournament is going to be very entertaining. We're going to be in Florida to watch it, so I'm excited for that. Early pick to win the Big Ten tournament.
Michigan.
Pick one that's not Michigan.
Gonna go Northwestern.
Okay. Obviously I'm gonna take MSU, but I think if I wasn't to take MSU, I think I would take Iowa. Iowa's heating up at the right time. That crazy comeback win against MSU really has sparked them. They beat Indiana by 30 in Indiana's place last night. So They have probably the best offense in the Big Ten. So I'm going to take Iowa. I think Iowa's my pick.
Have we talked about that game on here?
No, we haven't.
Can we?
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up a little bit, but
the craziest ending to a basketball game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've never, I went back and watched it because we both discussed this. I turned it off. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't turn it off. I was eating and it was on TV and I just quit watching because I was like, oh, this game's over. There was music being played. And all of a sudden you text me and I look at the ESPN notification and it's a an OT loss for Michigan State. And I didn't even understand how it happened. And I went back and watched the film, and it doesn't really help.
It doesn't really make any sense.
None.
Because MSU, it was a choke. I'm not going to sit here and say that, MSU didn't choke the game away, because obviously we did. But, I really don't think MSU's execution
was that
bad. They have been much worse in the end of games this year. We were up by 13 with, a minute 30 left. What's his face? Fran McCaffrey does his stare down with the ref, and I'm laughing. As soon as I saw that, I didn't turn I turned on the Pistons because they were also on.
Yep.
And because the game was taking forever, they were just playing the foul game. I was like, I'll turn on the Pistons. And then 20 seconds later, Jake texted me something, was like, dude, I swear if they blow this. So I turned it back on. But yeah, they would come down, foul AJ Hogard, who was not missing any of his free throws. He was making both every single time. Iowa comes down, hits a three. Foul AJ Hogard, 2 for 2. Iowa comes down, hits a three. It was just they were just trading threes for twos every single time. And then the crucial Malik Hall turnover that we didn't score on, they obviously hit another three. And then the one time AJ Hogard needs to desperately make two, he misses the second and they tie it up. And once it went to OT, you know you're going to lose. Not after that.
Yeah, it was almost like you said, they didn't really choke because they did almost all the right things other than one turnover. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say the missed free throw was that happens.
Yeah,
a turnover is a little bit different, but this team had such a perfect comeback.
I know
more than anything.
I've never seen anything like that.
It was
I was speechless. I wasn't even that mad. I was just sitting there what? No way this is happening.
And I would have been in the same exact spot. I would have been sitting there you didn't lose the game. Iowa won that game. They said, this is ours.
And it just sucks too because MSU, that was their best offense. I mean, they put up 100 points in regulation. Yeah. I, as a Michigan State fan, don't think I've ever seen 100 points in regulation from an MSU team. It's probably happened, but I can't
Air Force or
I can't recall a time that they've done it. So they were shooting the lights out. Michigan State, I'm pretty sure, is second in the Big Ten in three-point shooting this year, which is new for a Michigan State team. We've been shooting the lights out. But yeah, it was just, oh my gosh. And I was not really over it until after the game last night. We needed to get a win. I still couldn't get over the fact that they
made
lost
you feel
that game.
better.
And then they come out in the first half last night playing so badly, and it's oh my gosh, dude, we might be a bubble team now. We might not make the tournament.
That's definitely the type of loss that can set you back quite a ways if you allow it to. So it is nice to see a rebound win
for sure. That. And Tom Izzo said that at halftime he planned on going in there and just barking at everybody. And AJ Hogard led the discussion and said, this is my worst half of basketball I've ever played, and we need to figure this out so we can win this game. And Izzo said he didn't do anything. He said he'd let them guys do it, and he always honors a guy that takes accountability because he said no guys take accountability and put it all on them anymore. So that's cool to see from AJ Hogard, who's definitely been the leader of this team from a vocal standpoint. I think Tyson Walker has been the superstar of the team this year as he continues to go off. But
that is really cool. It's a good move to allow the players to lead the discussion as well, because it forces them to have stake. If they are the reason you are now doing something or changing something, they needed it to work more because it was their decision rather than Tom's decision to, I want to do this, this, and this. Now it was the players saying, let's do this, this, and this. They have more. They have a much higher stake in that second half.
And they know they couldn't lose that game.
Absolutely.
The thing that I really need out of Tyson Walker for this last couple weeks of the year to really have a good, if MSU can make the Sweet 16, I would count this season as a success because it's something we have not done since reaching the Final Four. Tyson Walker really needs to embrace being a star. He has the ability, especially over this last, 6, 7, 10 games or whatever. He's probably averaging close to 20 points per game on very, very high efficiency, and it's all on tough shots. I mean, he hits so many tough shots. he needs to talk more trash. He needs to let the defense know, I'm hitting this shit in your face. Like, he really needs to play with more confidence, because he'll go 3-4 minute stretches when he's hot, when he really just isn't doing much, and he gets the ball and he'll kind of just get rid of it. He needs to like let the team know too, like, I'm here. I'm him. Like, so like literally though, that's what he needs to do. So I hope that he uses that confidence for the rest of the season. Quickly, let's talk a little bit about Michigan. Hunter Dickinson hitting the buzzer beater against Wisconsin the other night to send it to overtime, and they go on to win that game. It was a huge win for Michigan at home. Hunter Dickinson has the Round Ball podcast with Barstool, and they had Big Cat on it. I don't know. I just saw a clip of it, but Big Cat, obviously a huge Wisconsin fan. They got into it about Michigan, Wisconsin, because Hunter Dickinson he's
an ass.
He is it's so hard to even try to not dislike Hunter Dickinson. On the podcast, he was wearing the shiesty mask.
Like the ski mask?
Yes. On the podcast, he was wearing it
why?
Big Cat, and then telling Big Cat about how Wisconsin has had no tournament success since he's been in the Big Ten or whatever. And Big Cat's going at Hunter Dickinson saying, well, what have you, like, he was like, well, I won two tournament games last year. Wisconsin has won 2 since I've been at Michigan, which sure, that's cool and everything, but it's just like,
I just don't.
Hunter Dickinson really be talking so much.
And the problem is that he's got a platform to do it. Who gave this guy a mic? And that's the issue. If you just take away the mic and the social media, he would still be annoying, but he wouldn't be this bad. And I totally get why anybody would dislike. I think some Michigan fans probably dislike Hunter Dickinson because of that stuff. It's like, dude, quit talking. Like, I don't know, at some point the college players shouldn't have the mics in front of them. Like, there's no reason for him to have a podcast at this point where he's just talking like that. It's a bad image for him. I really wish he didn't talk that. I wish he kept it on the court at least.
Right.
Like, was the super respectful guy off the court. Like,
yeah, true.
Oh, no, man. No, Wisconsin's got a good team over there. But he just is such a shit talker.
Yeah.
He's just,
I really dislike him.
I like Hunter Dickinson because I have to. I don't know if I would if he wasn't on my team and won games. Like, I really mean that. That's me, honest, non-biased right there.
Yeah, it's just tough because he's so difficult to be a fan of by any means.
Is he the worst that you see, or do you still dislike Mo more?
It's close because Mo Wagner was just the most like in-game like dislikable guy. Like he was even worse in-game than Hunter Dickinson is. And when it extends into the NBA, that's why like even worse. Like when he punched Killian Hayes, like that just maybe just go back to those days of him at Michigan,
Yeah, Hunter Dickinson isn't terrible on the court.
Oh,
like,
he is.
But he's not as bad
his
as Mo.
little, that like,
is
he's
terrible.
pretty bad in court, too.
I guess.
But Mo was just worse. Mo was like, I'm gonna talk shit after every single play, like no matter what. But I think I might dislike Dickinson more. It's tough because he tweets, he tweets
the
so
Twitter.
Much. So Mo Wagner, I don't remember him ever doing that. So plus, I think Franz Wagner made me a little bit better with Mo because I actually like Franz. Like he was a cool player. He's good. He was fun to watch, and he's good in the NBA. So that helped things a lot.
Yeah,
Dickinson, I probably dislike Dickinson more, but it's those two.
For sure.
All right. Let's talk about do we want to do a trivia right now or do we want to do Pistons talk right now?
Let's do a trivia. We can do a trivia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I have 2 things of trivia for you. How many things of trivia do you have?
I got 2 individual things. They're 2 different. Well, the one will be quick, I think.
So we can just go back so do you want to do yours first?
Yeah, I'll do mine.
We'll go back and forth.
Okay. So I'm doing the who had they played for teams edition.
Yep.
I don't know if this one's easy, hard. I think I was going to do the team path, but I think it would have been too easy. What teams has Mason Plumlee played for?
Okay.
In his career? If you can do them in order, so be it.
I think I might go reverse order here.
Okay.
So the Los Angeles Clippers
The
now.
LA Clippers.
The Charlotte Hornets.
Yep.
The Detroit Pistons.
Yep.
So before the Pistons, I believe. Ooh, actually, this is actually tougher than I thought.
Okay, I'm glad. I am glad that stumped you.
Well, I'm just trying to go because he played for Denver twice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was all in the same stretch, but it might have been twice.
It might have. It might have
twice.
been. It might have just all been in the same stretch, actually. But either way, he played for Denver.
Yes.
Portland Trailblazers.
Yep.
And Brooklyn Nets.
That's all in order, by the way. That was the order I have them written down.
Because he was a part of the Nurkic Plumlee trade. They got traded for each other. So that would make sense why he... Yeah, he probably was on Denver for all of one stretch then. Yeah.
It's crazy. That is such an insignificant amount of like a trade knowledge to still remember. There's no way I would have remembered but I remember Nurkic in a Nuggets jersey.
Yeah.
And I remember Plumlee in the Portland jersey, but I would have never remembered how they switched spots.
Right.
That's crazy.
Because Nurkic like wanted a bigger role, and like Jokic was like also coming up, and like it was like, who do you pick, Nurkic or Jokic?
Wrong choice.
They made the right choice.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't want the Bosnian beast, I guess. All right. Speaking of, which one do I want to do first? Okay, no, I won't do that one first. All right. This one I feel like should be easy, could be hard.
Okay.
Because it's somewhat longer.
Okay.
So, Nikola Jokic is on the brink of potentially winning his third straight MVP award.
Stat patter.
Which would be crazy.
Yep.
There have been 15 players in NBA history to win the MVP award multiple times.
Multiple times. Okay.
Yes. I need you to tell me all of them.
Okay.
All of the 2-time or more MVP winners in NBA history.
Okay, so I'm going to go Kareem.
Kareem is one there.
LeBron. Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Larry Bird. Mm-hmm. Let's keep going. Let's keep going quickly.
Try not to get any wrong, too.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Don't just be naming guys off.
I don't know if... Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hakeem Olajuwon has not won
my God,
multiple
Easton.
MVPs.
I thought he won both of them the years MJ was gone.
Just one.
Okay. Did like David Robinson win 2? I'm going to go with Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson has won multiple MVPs.
When I said Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain?
Wilt Chamberlain has won multiple MVPs.
Okay, let's keep Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan is correct.
Oh, that's a good one. Again, I'm 90% sure Kobe has one MVP. Steve Nash.
Steve Nash is a 2-time MVP winner. You are right, by the way. Kobe only has one MVP.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
2007, 2008, I think is the year. AI only has one MVP as well. Trying to think of some more bigs. Like, does Moses Malone?
Moses Malone is a multiple MVP winner, yes.
I'm glad I guessed it. I didn't want to.
So you are missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will say you are missing the 3 most recent multiple MVP winners.
Okay. Jokic.
Giannis.
Steph Curry. Okay.
So now you are missing 3, and one of them is from, like, I would say 90s. They probably won both. Yeah, they definitely won both in the 90s. Also played into the 2000s. The other 2 are much older players.
So David Robinson
did not win 2 MVPs.
Okay,
just
so
the one.
The older players, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell is one of them, yes.
And is Bob Pettit the other one?
Bob Pettit is the other one, the league's first MVP winner. Yes.
Okay, so 90s.
Bob Pettit's a pull for sure. Okay, so this one, okay, there's a reason you haven't guessed this guy. That's my hit.
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone is the answer, yes. That is all 15. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was, I got
only
2 wrong.
Only 2 names were wrong.
And who did I get wrong? Hakeem
and David Robinson, who both have won an MVP. Yeah.
I'm pretty okay with those
definitely.
2 being wrong.
It's not like you guessed a guy that hasn't won one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was very good. That was very good. That quiz is definitely easier than the other one.
Oh, great.
So. All right, what's the other one you got for me? Another one of those?
No, this year. So really testing your knowledge of. This is more about who's played the most games. This year's NBA points leader totals, not averages.
Okay,
we're looking at totals here. The top 10. I have the top 10 written down this season.
Okay. Damian Lillard.
Dame is number 7.
Really?
So surprising. Okay. He's averaging 46 this month.
I have to think of like who has not been injured.
Hurt. Yeah.
That's the part that makes things tough.
I will give you a hint. Every single one's an all-star.
Yeah.
I think.
I figured. Joel Embiid.
Yes, he's number 4.
Luka.
Luka's number 1.
Okay, I didn't want to guess Luka because he had that little spurt where he was hurt, but I didn't know if he would.
It's hard to decipher the obvious from like the
Exactly.
who's like good at scoring, but
Yeah.
it's just been playing all year.
Giannis.
Giannis is number 8. So you got that pen?
Yeah.
Or else I'm gonna forget what you said.
So I have Giannis, Luka, Dame.
Giannis.
Okay.
0 wrong.
Or I got Embiid too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I scratched that.
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell's number 10.
Ooh, really? Okay. Jason Tatum.
He's number 2.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shea is number 3. So you're missing number 5, number 6, and number 9. With
5,
0
6,
wrong.
9. Okay. I don't want to get one wrong, and I have a guy in mind, but I don't know 100% on him.
One of these guys I know was at All-Star Weekend. I don't know if he was an All-Star. I think he was, though. I'm pretty sure he was.
Okay.
But I can't remember him getting drafted.
I will guess. Oh, this might be a bad guess, but I'm only guessing. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna guess him. I only will desperation mode. Ja Morant.
Ja Morant is not on the list.
That hurts. That hurts. All right, I am gonna guess him then, since I already just got one wrong. Only guessing this guy because I know he has played in every game. Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards is number 6.
Okay. See, that's one where it's like he's not averaging like these high point
crazy.
averages, but he just plays every game. Same with a guy like Jokic. I mean, like he definitely has got to be. I'm gonna guess Jokic.
He is not on the list.
Okay. So which ones am I missing?
You're missing number 9 and number 5.
Number 9 and number 5. Okay, so when you say a guy that you know he was at All-Star Weekend but don't remember him being drafted, that makes me think of a guy like Lauri Markkanen who was in the 3-point contest. I'll guess Lauri Markkanen.
No.
Okay, yeah, that might have been a little bit of a stretch.
I don't know. I would consider this guy to be on the same tier as Lauri Markkanen. But this guy might have been a bubble all-star this year. I know he was an all-star last year. For sure was an all-star last year. Oh shit,
that throws a wrench in things. I was gonna guess De'Aaron Fox, but he was not an all-star, so that makes me wonder. How many am I missing?
2. You're missing both Eastern Conference player. One guard, one's a
both Eastern Conference.
Yeah, both Eastern Conference players.
Trae Young.
Trae Young is number 9.
Okay. And then another Eastern Conference guy.
This is a big.
It's got to be. It's a big, so it's not Jaylen Brown. Who be putting up them points?
Yeah, like this guy be putting them up.
Like for sure.
Oh yeah, this guy is a numbers.
It's got to be DeMar DeRozan.
No. But that's a good guess. That is a good guess.
He's a big. I mean, like I have a guess, but like I don't just want to guess.
Yeah,
him.
I'll give you another hint to see if you can confirm. He played in the West before coming to the East.
Like
his rookie year.
Okay, yeah, Julius Randle.
It's Julius Randle.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. That is all 10. Number 1, Luka Doncic. 2, Jason Tatum. 3, Shea. 4, Embiid. 5, Julius Randle. 6, Anthony Edwards. 7, Dame. 8, Giannis. 9, Trae Young. 10, Donovan Mitchell. That's all of them.
Boom. All right, I got one more thing for you. This one could be definitely a little bit harder. You want to hand me that pen?
Yep.
So, earlier you asked, like, why do I randomly have this knowledge of
Oh, no.
Yusuf Nurkic for Mason Plumlee trade?
There's no way you have it written down.
No, I don't have that written down, but it's like that.
Okay.
So, I'm going to name you trades that have happened in NBA history, recent NBA history. Okay, let me rephrase how I'm going to go into this.
Okay.
I'm going to name you big name players that have been traded in recent NBA history, and I want you to tell me the players that were received in return in these big trades.
Okay.
Obviously, there's going to be a lot of picks that are also involved, so you don't need to say those. Even though some of them, the guys have been drafted, and if you just like know who that was,
yeah,
you can guess that too. But
Oh my God, you're gonna say James Harden.
I'm not going to say James Harden.
Good.
I have one that is, well, the James Harden one is weird. I tried to stay away from 3-team deals because, like,
Good.
they're all over the place. It was mainly just this team and that team.
Gotcha.
I have one of them that's really hard. I'll do last because it's, like, really hard. So let's go back to one of the biggest trades in our lifetimes as fans of the Detroit Pistons. Blake Griffin traded to the Detroit Pistons. Who did the Clippers get in return?
So
It is 3 players along with a draft pick that has now been picked. So
okay. Tobias Harris,
Tobias Harris was the main piece of the trade.
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson was not a part
Okay.
of the trade.
You can see the logic there. Clippers.
Right, yeah.
Pistons player. Okay. Luke Kennard.
Luke Kennard was not a part
Damn.
of that trade.
Damn.
There is a lot of Clippers Pistons guys.
Now that we really think about
And Luke Kennard, I don't think was even drafted yet when this trade went down. This would have been 17-18 season.
Okay. So who else would have been in that deal that would have...
I will say, think about Tobias Harris and think about what comes with Tobias Harris.
A lot of money.
No. There was, I mean, I could eat, like, okay, I'm just going to say it. There's a guy that traveled with Tobias Harris through multiple destinations for a while.
Oh. I don't know. I really don't.
So you want me to just give you the whole thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Boban Marjanovic.
Yeah.
And-
Toby and Bobby.
Avery Bradley was the other piece that was
I
traded.
totally forgot Boban was on the Pistons.
I know.
Like, that is a crazy, like, blast from the past there in my head.
And then the draft
should've
pick, the
gotten
2018 pick, ended up being Miles Bridges, so they moved that pick anyways. But would have been nice.
That actually would have been nice.
All right, next one, a little bit of an easier one. Anthony Davis was traded from the New Orleans Pelicans to the LA Lakers. What was in return for the Pelicans?
Okay, I think I can actually... So, it was Brandon Ingram.
Yep.
Lonzo Ball.
Yep.
Josh Hart.
Yep. That's basically it. There
yeah.
was a guy, though, that was... Technically, this trade was not completed until after the draft. So there was a guy that was drafted very high that was a part of this trade as well.
Was it, Jackson Hayes?
It kind of was Jackson Hayes.
Okay.
It was DeAndre Hunter. The Lakers had the 4th pick.
Gotcha.
They sent it was DeAndre Hunter who they drafted. They traded it to the Pelicans, and then the Pelicans traded that to the Hawks for Jackson Hayes and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who were also in that draft. So kind of all over the place.
Yeah, but
like,
I kind of got that right,
kind of did get that right, yes.
Kinda did.
And then also a 2022 first-round pick, which was Dyson Daniels this past year. All right, I got 3 more.
Okay.
This one is very little players. Paul George was traded from the Oklahoma City Thunder to the LA Clippers for who?
Shea.
Yep.
And who was the other player? Who was
One more player. Was on the Thunder for a year.
Yeah, probably like on like the Chris Paul Thunder.
Yeah,
Correct.
he definitely probably the 3rd best player on that team.
Danilo Gallinari.
Yep.
Gallinari.
Yep. It
We've
was
definitely had a
him.
quiz question with him as an
Really?
answer before.
Oh no, I think I did what team as
Yeah.
he was the Thunder, yeah. And then there's obviously like 30 first-round picks that were
Yep.
in that one. I was going to do the Paul George from Indiana to OKC one, but that one's just so easy.
Paul George. Oh, Victor Oladipo.
And
Demonis Sabonis.
yeah,
Let's
like,
go.
that one's pretty easy. You got it though.
Yeah.
So. All right, 2 more. One more somewhat easy. Not really. And then one more really hard one. I just want to see if you can get any of the players in it. All right. Kyrie Irving has been traded multiple times now in his career. But his first trade was from the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Boston Celtics. What did the Cavs get in return?
Isaiah Thomas. Avery Bradley.
Avery Bradley was not in the trade.
Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder was in the trade.
Let's go.
There's a 3rd player that I do not expect you to get. So I'm going to ask.
Jared Sullinger.
Nope. It is Ante Zizic.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
But I will ask of you, who is the 1st-round pick involved in this trade? It was a Brooklyn Nets pick that the Celtics had, traded it to the Cavs. 2018. This was a top 10 pick.
Isaac Okoro?
Nope.
Who would have been another top 10 pick for the Cavs? Darius Garland?
Nope.
Colin Sexton.
Colin Sexton, yes.
Let's go.
All right, last one. This one is very hard. There's 3 players in this deal. I want you to see if you can guess. I will say there's 4 players in this deal, actually, because the guy that was drafted, you might remember him being in this trade. So
Okay.
if you can name me one player that was involved in this trade, I think that would be cool.
The bar is set. It's very high.
So Chris Paul has been traded multiple times in his career now. I was thinking about doing the Rockets one, but that one is easy. It's just Westbrook. I was thinking about doing the Suns one, but that one is really random. So when Chris Paul was traded from the New Orleans Hornets to the Los Angeles Clippers after David Stern said no to the Lakers, who did the Hornets get in return for Chris Paul?
I think I got one guy.
I think you do too.
I think Eric Gordon was in that trade.
Eric Gordon was indeed in that trade. He was a budding young star back in the Clipper days.
Were there any picks?
There was one first-round pick in this trade.
Was it Tyreek Evans?
It was not Tyreek
that
Evans.
should have
That's a
been
pretty solid
crazy.
guess. I will say, though, it's kind of funny that this guy was the first-round pick involved in this trade. And this guy ended up being on the Clippers at one point, too.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Would have been a horror. Oh, man. I don't.
It was Austin Rivers was the first-round
gotcha.
pick. And then the other 2 players involved in this trade were Chris Kaman and Al-Farouq Aminu.
Oh, let's go. Those are names. Alfred Camino is a name.
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe he knows like one of those guys. Are you looking for an Al-Farouq Aminu thing up here?
No. Why do we have no CMU banner?
I don't really know. Because
we live.
but like
4
it's
minutes
CMU, bro.
I guess, but we just we could have shouted out Chris Kaman.
I mean, we still can.
Yeah, we can't point.
Shout out Chris Kaman. We can't shout out Blake Griffin up here.
Yeah, he didn't go to CMU.
Yeah, but we don't have a Blake Griffin picture up on the wall.
I don't care about Blake Griffin like I do about Chris Kaman.
All right. So yeah, that was it for the draft or the trade trivia. All right. We got a couple more things to go through. We're going to do a little bit of Pistons talk, and we have 2 lists we're going to do. So let's start off with the Pistons talk. Monday night. What are you doing? You look like you need something.
What is the second list?
The bold predictions.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I got to come up with those right now.
Gotcha.
Forgot to write those down.
That's all right. Okay, so what time is it, by the way? Okay. Pistons talk. This will be somewhat quick, but we do need to talk.
We need to talk.
Pistons went full tank mode. I mean, kind of. Against the Charlotte Hornets the other night, with basically all 5 starters being out. Jaden Ivey out for personal reasons. Isaiah Stewart out. Jalen Duren out. Bogdanovich out. And obviously, Cade Cunningham is continuously to be out. But Marvin Bagley is back in the lineup, and he been balling. He's had 20 and 10 in both of the games since coming back from injury. Looks like he has not missed a beat. Dwayne Casey said that Marvin Bagley told on himself after getting 18 rebounds in his game back. Like, we expect you to get that many rebounds every game now. Like, if you have the ability to do it, like, keep
Told
doing
on
it.
himself. Funny way to say it.
Yeah, so James Wiseman had his best game in a Pistons uniform against the Charlotte Hornets the other night. RJ Hampton got extended minutes, which was cool to see. Isaiah Livers, though, also got injured. What'd you say?
He got a dunk. RJ's got that yam. The funny thing about it is I swear, having Beef Stew and Jalen Duren on my team, if we play Charlotte, the bigs go nuts.
Yeah.
That's how terrible. Their inside game is terrible.
Yeah, and well, it's now that Plumlee's gone, I feel like it's a little better now because their other guy, like Mark Williams, is definitely like an upgrade, but for defensively, obviously. But yeah, the Pistons, they are looking to go full tank mode. We expected this to happen at some point. It's cool to see Marvin Bagley come back from injury because he was kind of the odd man out, it looked like, with the big man group. Now, I don't know what they're going to do. So that's mainly what I wanted to talk about was the draft. We've talked about for a while now. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama's the goal. But in my brain, like, the Pistons are not getting Victor Wembanyama. Like, It's not happening. If it does happen, it's going to come as a surprise to me.
Yep.
I'm planning for it not to happen.
It's not like the Cade situation where you had him as your phone background.
Exactly. We got lucky once. That is not happening to Detroit twice. There's no shot. He's going to end up in San Antonio. It just is going to happen.
It should.
But we need to talk about what happens if the Pistons get the second pick, what happens if we get the third pick, etc. Scoot Henderson has been locked in as the second pick in the NBA draft for a long time now, since like the mock drafts have started coming out. However, the Pistons have Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, who was just drafted with the 5th overall pick. I will say Killian Hayes just because we have him. Adding a true point guard in Scoot Henderson definitely throws a wrench in things. So there's been talk about what if the Pistons decide to trade down from 2 to 3 for a team that needs a guard? Or what if they decide, hey, we're not even going to take Scoot at 2, even though it seems like he is number 2. Brandon Miller has been the guy that seems like the Pistons' biggest fit. You know, like you shouldn't draft for fit in a state where the Pistons are, but he seems like the guy to draft that would fit the wing score long role that we need.
Shooter, 3-and-D, athletic freak.
Exactly.
I mean, he's got it all.
However, Brandon Miller has found himself in some off-the-court issues over the past time. So is that a guy that Dwayne Casey and more specifically Troy Weaver wants to bring to Detroit? Troy Weaver's always talked about the person. That's always been his thing. We bring the person, not the player, to Detroit. I don't know if that's the person that he's looking for with all these off-the-court issues that have gone down with him at Alabama. So what are the Pistons going to do when we don't get the 1st overall pick?
Hopefully we get the 2nd overall pick because that gives us the options that we want. We can trade, but a team might not want to trade with us because they see the sticky situation we're in. They can be like, oh, well, we're not going to help you out. But obviously if we move way down in the draft, the Pelicans decide to trade the Lakers pick to us, and it's, the 8th pick or whatever. That would be terrible. I would hate. We couldn't drop that far down. I don't know what they'd give us. But I, at this point, believe that if we have number 2, let's just take Scoot. Let's get Scoot. Let's slide Cade to the 3. I don't have a better option other than that. Or sliding Ivy to the bench. Or you got to trade Ivy.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
I don't think it's a crazy... If we get Scoot, I am comfortable trading Jaden Ivey. Sadly, as much as he loves the Pistons, I just think the backcourt is nicer with a backcourt of Scoot and Cade. However, the ball, Cade is a guy who needs the basketball.
Right.
Scoot Henderson is not going to be an off-ball guard when he comes. That's not what he's best at.
Mm-hmm.
He should have the basketball in his hands as well. So it creates these huge issues where all of a sudden you're thinking, well, is it really even worth it to move Jaden Ivey? He wants to be here, and he seems to be a fitting off guard for Cade.
Yeah, and he's had a good rookie year.
Yes, a good
he's
year.
He's probably going to be first team all rookie. He won't win rookie of the year, but he will probably be first team, definitely second team if not. So it's hard because if you get the 2nd overall pick and you say let's just take Scoot, you either say let's figure it out, let's see what happens. One of them comes off the bench. I really don't think they would ever start all 3 of them. It would just be because the whole point of drafting Cade was to have that big guard. You know?
Oh yeah.
And then that just totally messes with everything. And then Cade has to guard 3s, and it's just that's not why he's here.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them comes off the bench, or do you look to potentially trade Jaden Ivey? It's a really weird situation because they liked Ivy on draft night. It's been a year since then, Imagine how much they like him now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard to trade a guy after his rookie year that when he's shown flashes, he has all-star flashes.
Yeah.
He definitely has the potential to be an all-star. So to trade a guy like that, when you are a franchise like the Detroit Pistons, that guys like that don't come around very often.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Scoot Henderson he's going to be a bust, but it's just really difficult to do. I think that this is going to be a situation where as soon as the Pistons land number 2, it might be seen that Brandon Miller gets mocked at 2 more than Scoot Henderson. Or maybe the Orlando Magic, who have 2, top 10-ish picks in the draft, decide to package those to move up with us and get Scoot Henderson. I think the trade down needs to be a talk, but how far down, because we need to get a top pick still. Mm-hmm. So there's so much that this is scary.
It's kind of going wrong.
And honestly,
we're in a bad spot.
And obviously, either way, we're going to get a good player. So that you can never get enough good players. Mm-hmm. But this roster is going to look a lot different next year. Basically,
this season could have went totally different if Cade Cunningham plays. We win more games. We're not in this spot probably, and it looks so different. It seems like now we're getting the ripple effect of this Cade injury, where now now we have this draft class that we don't really want to be drafting at the 2 spot. I mean, obviously Brandon Miller's a stud, but we don't want to be forced to reach him because of fit.
Right.
Reach for him because of fit. Even though Brandon Miller, again, he seems like he'd work great.
Yeah, I think he probably is the best fit for the Pistons. Wise.
Yeah.
Even if you get Victor, like, not saying like I don't want to draft him for fit. He's going to go 1 no matter who's drafting at 1.
Yeah.
And it will never be traded. But, like, you still have 5 big men on the roster at that point,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like, and I do think Vic honestly isn't going to be like a true 5. Like, I feel like he's going to be best next to another
Yeah,
big.
I agree.
But, yeah, it's just like, Brandon Miller, it would be the perfect fit for this team. So if we get 3, that's almost ideal. But if we get 2, then we're in a situation where it's like, it's not really a bad situation to be in.
No.
But it's just like
A shitty one.
It's just a tough decision
Yeah.
to make at that spot. So they're gonna have to make a lot of tough decisions if that happens. But we could just get Victor, and then you have easier decisions to make because you have Vic. So.
Yeah, you can just start cutting guys at that point,
Exactly,
just left
yeah.
and right.
And we'll keep, obviously we're going to keep watching the Pistons throughout the rest of this year. I'm excited to see how James Wiseman does for the rest of the year because he has looked pretty good, and obviously Marvin Bagley has looked good as well. All right, let's go. Speaking of Victor Wembanyama, there's a good amount of teams that could use Victor Wembanyama.
A lot.
Maybe 30 teams that
Yep.
could all use him. But there's only a few teams that actually have a shot at getting him, you know? So we are going to do the top 3 coolest spots for Victor Wembanyama to go. The spots that would just be like, wow, that's a good team, or wow, that would be cool to see.
Wow.
I didn't put the Pistons on here because, like, obviously that's the coolest,
It's
you know,
by
for
far
me.
the best.
So I didn't put the Pistons on here as a fan of the Pistons. They easily are 1, though.
Yeah, for sure.
But not including them. Yeah, do we want to just hop right into it?
I'm the same
Did
way.
you put any teams that are, like, honorable mentions or no?
I definitely think the Magic would be a cool team. Like, I really think that would be an awesome core with Wendell Carter Jr. and Victor Wembanyama next to each other. I think that'd work really well. But that was my only honorable mention. Do you have one?
He's going to end up on the Spurs, but I don't think that's cool by any means. So I put them in honorable mention. I put the Pacers and the Hornets in honorable mention because, like, LaMelo and Vic would be a really cool duo.
That'd be awesome.
Tyrese Halliburton and Vic would be a really cool duo. LaMelo Ball also fractured his ankle against the Pistons. Hopefully he recovers
that
well
sucks.
from that.
That actually blew.
That was a bad injury
Yeah,
too.
it
Like
was.
it was really weird one. All right, let's hop into it. Number 3.
My number 3 most favorite would be the Spurs, actually.
Okay.
I think it would be cool just because of the history behind
that's
it.
true.
I love the history. You know, they intentionally tanked for Tim Duncan. Now, 20 seasons later, they're doing the exact same thing under the exact same coach who literally, again, it is very clear. Like, when the Spurs tanked, David Robinson, they just sat him for the whole year. He got hurt, and they were like, we're just going to bench you.
Yeah.
This Tim Duncan guy is crazy.
Except this time they just
They
traded
said,
all their players.
we're getting rid of
away.
everybody
Yeah.
and don't bet on us to win the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Is what Pop said. I think it'd be awesome for the history. I think it'd be an incentive for Pop to stay around a little bit longer because there's definitely retirement talks. I mean, the guy's ancient at this point. It would just be cool for him to have a reason to stay around.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, and they also are coming off of a 16-game losing streak or whatever. They did win though.
Oh, they did get a win?
So they did, yeah.
Shout out the
surprisingly.
Spurs.
My number 3 is another team that is on a massive losing streak, a 10-game losing streak. Number 3 is the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets is a team that obviously we've had some beef with, quotation mark beef, not really. I think if you add Victor Wembanyama to this team, it fixes the rim protection issues that this team has because Sengun, like you've talked about, is can you have a good playoff team with the defensive center of Alperen Sengun? Probably not. You add Vic to that, you can definitely figure that out. That helps. Jabari Smith Jr. is a guy that I feel like I'm much higher on than other people. I think he can be a really good two-way player, especially you add Vic next to him. Jalen Green is going to continue to get better. Their young core changes up a lot. They have a lot going on in Houston, like a lot of bad things, but I think if they add Vic, that team is pretty cool.
Well,
So
if you add Vic, the chances of adding Harden do skyrocket.
I forgot. That was another reason why I put them on there because, yeah, if you get Vic, Harden comes there.
Oh, you've got a good team all of a sudden in
Harden
a
would
year.
probably come there.
I think so.
I mean,
think
he
a lot
already-
of guys would.
Yeah, he already wants to go there before Victor Wembanyama's even there. So, yeah, Houston is number 3.
My other team was the Rockets. I think it would be awesome again. The Sengun, the Rockets Nuggets game the other night. Sengun was a clown in it. He airballed a free throw. He airballed the 3-pointer by like 3 feet. It is incredible. He doesn't like shoot mid-range jump shots.
Yeah.
He is so funny to watch out there. Him and Jokic are just the goofiest looking guys.
And Dame dropped 70 on Sengun's head, according to Steven Siler. ridiculous. Did you see all that about? Because Sengun got benched like halfway through the third quarter for the rest of the game. They're like, he was getting killed in the pick and roll the whole game. It's like, yeah, Dame still dropped 70 either way, dude. Like, it's only on Sengun that he dropped 70.
And like, why bench the young player, dude? You think you're not gonna have to play extremely talented guards who can shoot the ball from way deep in the playoffs?
Yeah, right.
Like, what happens when you run into the Hawks in the conference finals? Or in the conference finals, in the NBA finals, and you got to bench Sengun. All of a sudden, you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. That like Steven Silas been getting a lot of hate this year, but that one didn't make any sense.
None.
To me. Like just blaming him for it.
Yeah, he was getting torched, so we had to bench him.
So is the whole defense, dude.
Like, what? The guy had 70, and you're gonna put it on one guy.
So was Houston your number 2, or were they just another team?
They were number 2.
Oh, okay. My number 2 is the Orlando Magic. I think the Orlando Magic, I think already have like the best young core in the NBA.
Oh yeah.
As far as teams that aren't already like good. So if you add Victor Wembanyama to the Orlando Magic with Paolo Banchero, you said Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what the lineup looks like. It's going to be huge. And then you have another first round pick in the, they have like the 5th and 7th pick right now. If everything were to be how the standings are. So you have another pick that you could use to trade. You have guys like Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony who you could package together to go trade for an elite guard.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy smokes, we're looking at a team that's going to be dominant the next 5 to 10 years.
The Magic's length and their depth would be unreal. That means you have Jonathan Isaac coming off the bench, Caleb Houston's coming off the bench. That would be, I mean, that's basically what the Raptors want to be, just bigger.
Yeah,
like we're just
and better.
We're just way huger than you. It would be unreal.
It would be terrible.
My number 1 team is the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, okay.
LeBron out with a foot injury for a while now. Anthony Davis got listed as out tonight. Things are not looking good for the Lakers, and the Pelicans have their pick this year, and it could get ugly, is all I'm saying. Jump up to 1, because it has no protection, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So you jump up to 1, and you get Victor Wembanyama to pair next to Zion Williamson,
that would be...
Brandon Ingram, C.J. McCollum. That one is definitely the most unrealistic of the 3, but it would be so hype.
Yeah.
It would be just like the perfect team ever.
Yeah, I didn't put the Pelicans just because the Lakers are like so close to making the playoffs, but obviously with LeBron being out, it definitely is going to hurt their chances much more.
Anthony Davis is a glass house,
right?
Just waiting for a rock to be tossed at
he will
it.
get hurt another time this year for sure. So my number 1 is the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's a guy by the name of Chet Holmgren that we have not seen yet this year.
That would be so cool.
The Thunder, they have been really good this year, but they are still in the lottery. I think they have like the 6th projected pick right now, so they're still in that group. Shea has really established himself as an all-NBA type player. He's averaging over 30 points per game this year. Jalen Williams has been really good rookie. They have Lou Dort. Josh Giddey, obviously. You have Chet and Victor Wembanyama in their rookie year together. That team would
Who's winning Rookie of the Year?
I don't know. Probably Scoot Henderson on a different team. But yeah, that would be an unreal back or front court, especially with Shea still there. So that's my number 1 team.
That's a fair pick, no doubt. I definitely was thinking about how cool it would be for Shea to be paired with a player like that.
Yeah, it would be. All right, we can just wrap up there. We don't have to do the bold. We can save that for next time. I want to say though my big bold prediction quickly. Miami Heat, they're gonna miss the playoffs in general, or they're gonna get blown out in the first round and blow the whole team up in the offseason.
That would be so cool because of the amount
guess.
of players that would just
like maybe not Bam, but like
Butler.
Jimmy gone.
Oh, that would be cool. You think
I don't know though. Jimmy's on like that huge contract,
and he's the most Heat player
he is,
ever.
For sure.
Like they kept Udonis around for this long.
That is true.
Like he's 42.
Jimmy is on like a really bad contract though, so like I don't know who's trading for that.
And he doesn't really fit the like. I mean, he's a great player and he works for what the Heat have him do. He kind of plays that point forward role, but like on a different team, you also have to make him the star.
Right.
Like, he needs the
Put
basketball.
him on the Magic.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Just play point guard for the Magic with Vic and Paulo and them.
That'd be insane.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for listening. We will be gone for a week or so don't forget to check us out on other things because I'll still be posting TikToks and stuff, so you can watch us there. But go check out everything else, and bye.
Bye.